Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money Channel. This coming from Bank XRP. In my opinion, the launch of spot XRP ETFs is the final nail in the coffin for the old anti-crypto regime. So he was retweeting out Nate Gerassi's tweet, and Nate Gerassi essentially said, sometime in the next 2 weeks, I expect the launch of the first XRP ETFs. So guys, it's November 3rd today. If you guys are watching this video on the day that I'm releasing it, we are eyeing a date now of November the 13th. The government shutdown has kind of mixed things up a little bit. We were hoping for mid to late October. That never happened. Now we're eyeing mid-November. He says SEC had open litigation against Ripple for the past 5 years, up until 3 months ago. In my opinion, the launch of the spot XRP ETFs represents the final nail in the coffin of the previous anti-crypto regulators. So Bank XRP is echoing that sentiment there. The suppression era is ending. Institutional doors are opening. And we got confirmation of that just last night. I believe this was from yesterday's episode of 60 Minutes. This is President Donald Trump, and this is from 60 Minutes Overtime, so the additional content that they post on their website. Donald Trump says, I only care about one thing, that we will be, and by we, he means obviously the United States of America, we will be number one in crypto. For copyright reasons, I'm not going to play you guys the clip, but I am going to read the transcript. Okay, I got the transcript up. He says, I only care about one thing. Will we be number one in crypto? Crypto has turned out, and in that sense, I've been right. Crypto's turned out to be a massive industry, if you want to call it that, and I'm very proud to say that we are far and away ahead of China and everybody else. Now, China is getting very big into it as well right now. If you want to go after people, you're going to kill that industry, and it'll be very bad. Tremendous number of jobs. I campaigned positively on crypto very openly. Biden campaigned against it. When Biden found out that I was like getting 100% of the crypto vote, which is a lot, he switched totally and he went in favor of crypto. They were totally in favor. They had many people under indictment. They let them all go, he says. You know that. Many people were under indictment. Biden was a corrupt president. Biden went all in on crypto at the very end because he thought he could get some of the votes, and it did not work. They voted for me, Donald Trump says. I want to make crypto great for America. That's the only thing. I don't want to have somebody else have crypto and have China be number one in the world of crypto. Because in crypto, it's kind of an industry where basically you're going to have number one and you're not going to have a number two. And right now we're number one by a long shot. I want to keep it that way. The same way we're number one with AI. We want to be number one with crypto, and I want to keep it that way. So that is the president's take on the crypto industry. Being number one in crypto, obviously very important. We've got the ETFs lined up for the next 1 or 2 weeks. We can see that institutional inflow come in. Hopefully, we do see that very soon. And now, another video, guys, a bit of a twist. This is a pretty crazy video of Peter Thiel talking about Bitcoin and how it has been co-opted by BlackRock and the government. So, of course, we know Bitcoin used to be this cypherpunk anti-establishment currency, or at least that's what we were told to believe. If you believe in the four Satoshis theory and the fact that the CIA already knows who Satoshi Nakamoto is, I don't know, maybe you think something differently. If you guys haven't seen the video I did on that, I will link it up here in the top right-hand corner. A lot has coming out over the last several years about Bitcoin and speculation surrounding its existence.
Because another investment that you've made and been very public about is Bitcoin. And you have remained a very big bull. You have come out publicly and you said that enemy number one to Bitcoin is the sociopathic grandpa from Omaha that you described as Warren Buffett. Can you tell me what you were thinking when you said that?
It got a lot of laughs, so somehow people, it probably hit some kind of a nerve, but it was in a 2022 Bitcoin convention talk I gave, and there were three separate enemies. There was Jamie Dimon, Larry
Fink, who's no longer an enemy, by the way.
Yeah, he sort of shifted, but but anyway, I can say some anti-Larry Fink things too. But and then there was Warren Buffett, and the rough context was my sort of political sociological analysis was the cryptocurrencies it was a revolutionary youth movement, but for them to really take over, you needed it couldn't just be a student uprising like 1968. You needed to get the rest of the society on board, and as long as the old people were going to sit on their hands, that was the big blocker for cryptocurrencies to go to the next level. And
Are you still convinced?
I think it's gotten partially unlocked with the Bitcoin ETF, but then there, probably the part where I'm less convinced of is this question of the sort of ideological founding vision of Bitcoin or these cryptocurrencies as sort of a cypherpunk, crypto-anarchist, libertarian, anti-centralized government thing. This is always the line.
Isn't that what got you interested in the first place?
That's what I thought was terrific about it. And then the question is, does it really work that way, or has that thread somehow gotten lost? And so when people in the FBI tell me that they'd much rather have criminals use Bitcoin than $100 bills, it suggests that maybe it's not quite working the way it was supposed to.
Have you sold any of your Bitcoin?
I still hold some. There are all these ways I didn't buy as much as I should have, and I'm not sure it's going to go up that dramatically from here.
From here?
Yeah, I think we got the ETF edition, and I don't know who else buys it quickly from here.
Some interesting investment advice. That actually surprised me, because I don't think I've heard you. I thought you were still all in.
I still have a small position. It probably still can go up some, but it's going to be a volatile, bumpy ride. And I had a dual reason. One was this sort of ideological, decentralized future of computing world that I really do believe in, really believe would be better. And it seemed like the perfect vehicle for that for such a long time. And I am just much less convinced of that. And so
Interesting.
So maybe Larry Fink with the BlackRock ETF surrendered to the forces, the anti-ESG forces, or maybe it's more like Bitcoin's been co-opted by them, and I worry it was more the latter.
So Peter Thiel's outlook for Bitcoin, not terribly optimistic. When it comes to the future of the currency, because we have governments and companies, big institutions like BlackRock now piling in, I mean, that has definitely, I guess maybe I shouldn't say definitely, but some may suggest that has impacted the price of Bitcoin for this particular rally, why the market isn't acting in the same way it used to act. And if you guys didn't catch the video I did this morning, is the cycle extending? Are we seeing different elements to this crypto cycle that we haven't seen before? Check it out. I will link that up here in the top right-hand corner. Many parts of this cycle have been getting people on crypto Twitter a little antsy, a little anxious, a little volatile, dare I say. And, Bitcoin, is the crux of this, because Bitcoin is the engine that drives altcoins. We have Bitcoin just kind of hovering right now. There is still an argument, a very bullish argument for prices to go higher. For more information on where I see the market going, you guys can follow me at patreon.com/workingmoneychannels, where I open up my portfolio, tell you guys about my selling targets, where I think the market's going to peak. And this is up-to-date information. Of course, this is ever evolving and always changing. So I update Patreon subscribers regularly. Follow me if that's something you're interested in. It is only $5 a month, cheaper than some people pay for a cup of coffee every single day. Check it out if you're interested. One thing experts know for sure is that XRP will become the place most people store most of their wealth, okay? This an article posted by Michael Branch from the Crypto Basic. And Vincent Van Cote, okay, he suggests that a time will come when XRP and the XRP ledger are just where you keep most of your wealth. His remarks come at a moment when conversations around XRP's long-term relevance, utility, and role in the global financial sector are intensifying. He describes XRP as a neutral, borderless asset with no counterparty risk, no chance of being frozen, and no need for intermediaries. These qualities make it well situated for long-term wealth storage, according to proponents. So, when we think about XRP in terms of that long-term use case, we can see the setup there. And, some people are thinking to themselves, I might not ever need to sell any of my XRP. I can lend it out. I can keep accumulating when prices dip. And, if I do need to sell it, I can do it later on down the road when prices are double, triple, maybe even 4 digits. That is definitely one possibility. Problem is, we don't know how long this is going to take, and if we will see, the market retrace in the meantime. So, this is definitely one perspective here. Certainly one that we've talked about a lot in the XRP community. This goes hand in hand with this idea that there will be a great reset, and not just that. Even just a major overhaul of the financial system. Michael Branch again with this, a reset perhaps, USPS, and all other major banks, including Chase, Wells Fargo, to close for 24 hours in days for the first of 2 November shutdowns. This just came out, guys. They're preparing these shutdowns for this month, November. This planned closure is part of the USPS federal holiday schedule and will impact communities nationwide. So this is all across America. Americans will soon face a nationwide service pause as the United States Postal Service and all major banks prepare for a full 24-hour shutdown in the coming days. The closure marks the first of 2 major shutdowns, with the next one expected later in the month for Thanksgiving. What else do we have here? The temporary halt will affect millions of people across the country as mail delivery, in-person banking, and some government operations come to stop for Veterans Day, which falls on Tuesday, November the 11th. It says down here, postal operations will not be interrupted in the event of a government shutdown. The agency said earlier in a statement emphasizing that it remains independently funded. But the planned closure is part of the USPS federal holiday schedule and will impact communities nationwide. I think we could, and considering we're also seeing banks involved in this, financial institutions, they say Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Chase, U.S. Bank, Citibank, Capital One, Citizens Bank have confirmed that their branches will remain closed for a full 24 hours. This just screams, even though they're not saying it here, screams ISO 20022 integration or preparations for that. The fact that we are witnessing, we're going through a period right now where they are retooling the financial system. They're not telling us this. Everything is becoming digital. And XRP, the backbone of that financial system. So I could see where people will, just hold XRP, keep it there, not sell out. How many of you guys don't ever plan on selling your XRP or plan on selling it when prices get above 3 digits, let's say? Put it down in the comment section. As a matter of fact, I'll do one better. How many of you guys plan on selling, I'll just put it here, selling your XRP, and I'll give the suggestions down in here. I'm going to make this a poll, guys, and I want you guys to respond to the poll on the next pump. Okay, I'm going to put it here, 2-digit price, and then I'm going to add another one here, 3-digit price, and then I'm going to add another one, never. And I really am curious to see how this goes. I'm curious to see where your minds are at, especially now that we do have, it's sentiment is different. The market is different. Things are changing. I mean, we're going through a bit of a different cycle. And again, for more information on how I'm treating this cycle, you guys can follow me at patreon.com/workingmoneychannel. Anyway, I'm curious to see what happens there. Paul Barron posting this XRP plot twist. Is this what Brad Garlinghouse was working on all along? Every major bank is racing to own their own stablecoin, while Swift pitches neutral rails. Maybe there needed to be chaos before there was clarity and calm. So think about this for a second. We got JPM, Bank of America, Citi, Wells Fargo, U.S. consortium stablecoins, ING, Deutsche Bank, UniCredit, and 6 others, Euro stablecoin by 2026. We got Bank of America CEO saying they're ready to launch. Banks don't want neutral infrastructure. They want control. But here's the kicker. The more proprietary systems equals more fragmentation. So by creating this chaos within the banking system and the banks saying, well, we're going to do our own stablecoin and we don't need this and we don't need that, that essentially and ironically, may I add, creates an ecosystem that becomes more fragmented. And so, as Paul Barron says here, who bridges the walled gardens? Of course, this is exactly why XRP exists. XRP is essentially the backbone of the XRPL, Ripple Prime included. Andrew DeFilbus, he posted this, all right? Here's a clip from the Thinking Crypto podcast. This is Jazzy Cooper explaining to us a little bit how Ripple Prime settlement, among other things, are going to be featured on the XRP ledger. Listen to this.
Have professional market makers that are supporting that market. They also allow for a yield opportunity for token holders if they're willing to supply their liquidity for the functionality of the protocol. So AMMs were an interesting concept that we wanted to expand the XRPL DEX with, and we did so in a unique way where the two work in an interconnected fashion. So if you as a user, executed a trade order, the system under the hood will decide, will you get a better price if the AMM solves for that or the order book solves for that. And so I think it's quite neat and useful from a trader perspective in that regard. And it's growing quite well. I don't have the exact, TVL numbers at hand today, but, it's grown in ranges of tens of millions quarter over quarter. And there hasn't been any, inorganic incentive programs to date. So all of that was just bootstrapped or organic adoption. So
we're looking at tens of millions, guys, right now, but eventually trillions are going to be settling on the XRPL via KYC pools, producing fees and driving demand for XRP itself. This is the target. This is what's happening. So tens of millions at the moment. Of course, this is going to take time to scale. This is why real-world utility is still fairly far away. The good news, guys, TCS, BANCS Research Journal did just highlight Ripple as part of its multi-rail cross-border payment infrastructure. So they talk about AI-powered solutions here. They're tracking real-time conditions across SWIFT, SEPA, and Ripple, and domestic networks, calculating optimal paths, considering speed, cost, reliability, and customer priorities, and anticipating problems before they happen. So they also mentioned Ripple down in here. The payment solution supports APIs of fintechs like Wise and Ripple to process payments alongside distributed ledger technology-based payment rails. Guys, Ripple is part of the infrastructure. They're part of the backbone. For those of you guys who do not know, this is a suite of software products from Tata Consultancy, and they are a Ripple partner, and they are a big part of the financial services industry. They're used by banks, capital markets, and insurance companies to manage operations and facilitate digital transformation. It offers a wide range of solutions, including core banking, payments, and insurance policy management, built on a modern cloud-first platform to help financial institutions become more agile and digitally engaged. The architecture is modular and built on microservices supporting technologies like APIs, AI, and blockchain. And guys, they have highlighted Ripple in here, part of the backbone of the financial system alongside SWIFT and SEPA. We're seeing developments on the XRP ledger slowly accelerate. Hopefully we do see trillions of dollars, and hopefully the banks have kind of shot themselves in the foot here, creating chaos, which will need a bridge currency. This is exactly why XRP exists. So guys, do you have enough XRP? How high do you think the price will go? And I really am curious. Boy, we already got 32 votes here, most in favor of a 2-digit price. We're going to wait to see how this plays out. That's just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. And for more opinions on where I think the market's going to go, follow me, patreon.com/workingmoney channel. It is only $5 a month, but you got to subscribe and stay subscribed to lock into that price. If you guys want to support the channel, maybe in a different way, and you want some tangible merchandise, check out the Working Money Channel merch store. Link is in the description of the video. That's just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.